Crowdfund me a new computer so I can live stream. Oh wait, I'm not a hot 20-year-old blonde. I guess never mind. But hey, neither one of us will sleep with you. Want to enter the art contest? Drop me an email. Oh, I did have an exchange with Renfamous where I defended EVS, but they probably have each other blocked, so you never saw it. I was reading this, and I thought to myself, oh, cool. This will be light on the identity politics. I mean, Harley is not PC, right? Then I started noticing things. And mainstream comics don't like you noticing things. I notice who the bad guys are, who is made to look stupid, who is ineffectual, who's the victim of violent crime. Who are the antagonists? The Italians. That seems a little racist to me. I mean, this isn't the 1950s. Then it hit me. Why don't comics ever portray a George Soros character as the evil mastermind? He literally is one in real life. The problem with modern comics is that they are so unbalanced. The writers and editors are so far left that they can't take a moderate view of a story. They literally think anyone to the right of Mao is actually evil. So the bad guys are always nationalists with blonde hair. Why do you think the meme Redacted got started? Oh, I forgot. I can't say that on YouTube. They have to know that the German socialist thing is getting old. But it's like they have this suicidal blind spot. NPCs have an innate self-destructive program that lets them spread increasingly corrupt messages until they draw attention to themselves and people start noticing how evil they are. Then Ethan puts them on the trains. So the cringe in these books slowly builds up. Then there's a scene where the evil Italian does a Muslim acid attack. But instead of mentioning that Muslims also use this method to attack women, they mention World War II and the Axis powers. How badly do you have to grind the axe if you need to dredge up events from the 40s? As soon as I read it, I started to sigh and mumble under my breath, "Gay." I would look at the writer and editor on Twitter, but I know what I would find. It's why the redacted meme was invented. Thanks, 4chan. Oh, on an aside, I hear people talking about their subs dipping because YouTube is cleaning inactive accounts. And I don't blame YouTube. I know that I piss off both sides. People unsub, and then they sub back a week later. I can't help being an asshole. I come from a proud lineage of assholes. My mom is half asshole, and my dad's a quarter. I just learned to accept my nature. And you're a bigot if you don't. Hashtag free the asshole. Or maybe not. I can't help but notice that the bad guys all share a certain shading. That's not how criminal statistics work. Go to a big city police station or sit in a criminal court for a day. You may wonder why it annoys me so much. Because it's racist propaganda. Isn't that enough of a reason? Is racism bad or is it now good? I honestly don't know anymore. The majority of the left is racist and misandrist. They're putting these issues on the table and saying that they are acceptable positions to hold. If the enemy uses a tool and you maintain the moral high ground and don't, you'll lose. It's why America is basically northern Mexico now. Anyway, it's something to think about. And I just lost probably 10 subs because of that. Reading mainstream comics is always waiting for the other shoe to drop. When is the subtle racist propaganda going to kick in? It's like Gail Simone has abused me. Now, as a constitutional libertarian, I have a tricky position on the police and the issue of civil rights, because most center-of-right people are pro-police, so every time I call out police brutality or the Fourth Amendment violations, I lose Twitter subs. But then I also call out the criminals and get called racist by the left. Why not both? Admit that the police are sometimes violating our constitutional rights, but also that most of the time the criminals are violent savages, as Hillary says, super predators. So comics always follow the narrative of white cop bad, black criminal good. Twitter is a funny place. I follow and am followed by people on opposite sides of issues, and I like tweets by people I'm not supposed to like. But I don't hate anyone in Comicsgate. You know what? Let me just take an aside. That reminds me. Since I got on Twitter a week ago, or less than a week ago, I finally kind of understand what the thing going on with, I guess the guy's name is Mark Pellegrini and Ethan Van Sciver. Something happened where Pellegrini liked a tweet that disparaged Ethan and he wasn't supposed to like it. And when I first heard of that, I wasn't on Twitter, and I thought, oh, this guy sounds like a real jerk, but, just move on, move on with your life. You don't need to make an issue. I would just say, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to work with Mark Pellegrini. The guy's a jerk. Then I got on Twitter, I realized it's really easy to like things. I mean, I'll go through tweets, and I'm not reading everything carefully. If I see something marginally funny, I'm just going through and liking stuff, just to let people know, yeah, I saw it, I was here for an hour. And, it sucked up an hour of my time. I'm just going through liking things. I get the feeling a lot of people are doing that. So it's not like we're analyzing every single tweet and think, oh, we need to weigh and balance this. Anyway, so it happens. Anyway, I don't hate anyone in Comicsgate. We're one big dysfunctional family. I'm not too fond of the anti-Comicsgate people who don't believe in free expression or due process. What was weird was someone who's in War Campaign was happy that John De La Rosa's book got censored on Amazon. I said that I couldn't support censorship of anyone, but he didn't know how to respond to this because only SJWs support censorship. So he switched the argument to say Amazon didn't think JDA's book was good enough. I didn't continue arguing with him. I would have just asked him how he knew that information, because obviously he didn't. I said that I wouldn't support censorship, even of Renfamous. I believe in free expression, and that it applies to everyone. Anyway, the NPCs at DC always push the same subtle propaganda. The First and Second Amendment are icky and mean. We have to get rid of them so people don't get their feelings hurt. This is just bad storytelling, because there are no surprises there. You can't have NPCs violating their own programming. There was a study that showed that right-of-center people were able to have a more fair and impartial view of issues. They could put themselves in the shoes of leftists and predict their responses, but left-wingers couldn't put themselves in the shoes of a right-winger. That's why right-wingers make better writers and are able to analyze perspectives better than, say, CNN, because liberals literally can't be fair and impartial. SJWs have years of liberal indoctrination, but the right had the same liberal brainwashing, but they were able to break the conditioning and take the red pill. On an aside, I was listening to Blacklist Universe on YouTube. He said that he subbed to me, so that was nice. I realized that I'm a little bit spicy and not everyone's cup of tea. But it doesn't mean that I won't roast Mike. I heard something about a frog sushi video. If true, that was in incredibly poor taste. But I never saw the video. I just can't keep tabs on everyone. And there are some people who I have a hard time watching more than a few minutes of. It's hard now to watch Ethan spit such venom at his old friends. But I realize that there's plenty of blame to go around. It's not just Ethan's fault. Edwin Boyette, Mike, Doug, they've all done or said some unfortunate things. So have I. There's an ancient saying, for those you seek to destroy, first make them angry. Anger makes us irrational. Anyway, so the Joker is whining about violent cops who rightfully need to be prosecuted. But the hard truth is, most of the time Jamal gets shot because he was trying to shoot somebody. The Joker talks about cops slaughtering people, but in any big city, the vast majority of the crime is committed by Jamal and his super predator friends. The thing is, you can't have some PC soy boy write the Joker and Harley. The point of the story is that it's a sick, dysfunctional relationship. The next scene, they portray a city of monsters, and guess what? It's all the beautiful people of the light. The whole sub-story is about these killer cops killing gang members. You can just get the F out of here with that garbage. Most homicides are done by guys named Jamal or Juan who are in a gang. It would be a good thing if more people killed gang members, because gangs kill innocent people. They are the bad guys, remember? Kind of reminds me of, was it Kickstarter who said they wouldn't allow Mike Miller's latest project because it portrayed gang members as effing gang members? It's really hard not to swear. Gang members who kill people. They're historically marginalized and oppressed? Are you freaking kidding me? What a load of... Okay, in the comic's defense, it has a lot of genuinely funny scenes. The art is good, and not just the art, but the composition is also very good. They just skip the identity politics, it would be a much better book. Oh, and the women have big jugs. That is rare to see nowadays. they draw the Joker's face as somewhat androgynous, but that seems to work for the Joker. I've always kind of thought of him. He's got this like skinny, muscular body, but he's used that artist who just died a couple of years ago. Not Sting, that other guy. Oh, God. Anyway, I don't think this comic would have been a masterpiece without the identity politics, but it would have been very good. The axe grinding ruined what could have been a timeless classic. It's as if they can't help themselves. Okay, like, comment, enter the art contest, drop me an email or the Discord, or if you want to support the channel, Patreon, Coffee, or get a t-shirt. The links are, click the title and the links will pop up. I do all this crap on the phone. I don't know how it appears on the laptop. I know sometimes things are a little bit different on the laptop. Yeah, this one scene was funny. They ask her how she's doing, and she's obviously stressed out, and she just does this kind of cute throwaway line, but it's funny. It works. Stuff like this. This book would have been an excellent, excellent book, and I kind of get the feeling that these people are going to try to say it's excellent, but because it does do a lot of good things, and if you just got rid of this, white man bad narrative, white cop bad, it would have been something special. I mean, you had, it's like, I think you're saying, well, can he tell a compelling story without this SJW propaganda? Yeah, I think he could. I think he could. But you have to, I mean, the first step to admitting you have a problem, I mean, to solving a problem is admitting there is a problem. And if you have the writer looking through this book and not seeing propaganda, then they're so deep into the... See, because here's the thing. I write these little scripts out, right? And I know when I'm grinding an axe. And sometimes I'll go through and correct it. And sometimes I'll leave it in because if you're, I'm not trying to sell anything. But if I'm trying to sell a book, I would want to sell it... I mean, I guess I'm selling myself, but I don't ever expect to make any money on it. I would want to sell to the biggest audience possible. And that's... I will... one thing your boy has done is you notice he doesn't... People say, oh, he's this right-wing Nazi. He's very, very moderate and mild in his criticism of issues and events and people. If you notice, if you listen to him carefully, he doesn't speak out about a lot of things. I mean, he's vaguely right of center. And to SJWs, anyone right of center is evil. But he's not very right of center. And two, he's not very opinionated on many things. The guy cares about comics books and making as much money in the industry as he can. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. That is his number one goal, to sell as much of his books as he possibly can. And that's great. But he's also very, very politically correct. And to a lesser extent, so is Ethan. He's also trying to sell himself, sell his books. But he knows his audience is, moderates and right of center people. Anyway, this book does a lot well. It just sucks that he can't stop grinding the friggin' axe. This would have been a classic. This would have been an A-rated book, and they're going to try to say it is. It's not. It's not. Just read it. Read it for yourself. It's Harley #2. I don't know when it came out, but it misses the A rating, and it drops it down to just. It's just they just keep screwing things up. You've got something in your hand. It's just so precious, and you could have made it gold, and you just smear it with crap because you can't effing help yourself. It's so hard not to swear when I read this kind of stuff. We know what they say about SJWs. They snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. You could have had something great, and you couldn't do it. You just couldn't put the axe down for just a minute and release something that could have been awesome. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. I will see you on the next episode.